Assalamu Alikum. We'd like to thank you all for attending today's Muhammad's Temple meeting. For those of you who are new and never attended a Muhammad's Temple meeting before, we would like to get you familiar with our procedures. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that we always start our meeting in prayer. So if you will please stand and rise for prayer. And again, for those of you who are attending for your first time, we want to show you how we pray. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that Allah taught him that we've been on our knees long enough. We prayed on our knees long enough that he desired us not to be on our knees anymore. So we're taught to stand at erect, at attention, with our heels touching at a 45-degree angle like this. You have your feet at an angle like this. We are taught to extend our hands out as if we're receiving a gift, slightly bow our heads and close our eyes to this wicked world. For those of you who know the prayer, please say it along with me. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds, the Beneficent, the most merciful, Master and Savior of this day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, O Allah, and Thee alone do we beseech for help. O Allah, guide us along the right path, the path of those upon whom Thou hast bestowed favor, and not on the path of those upon whom Thy wrath is brought down, nor of those who have gone astray after they have heard Thy teachings. Ameen. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, to whom all praises are due forever, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, and in his divine leader, teacher, and guide, and last messenger that we, the lost people here in the wilderness of North America, I greet you all in our greetings, words of peace and paradise. Assalamu Alikum. In that last and greatest messenger, I speak none other than the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. We thank Allah and can never thank Allah enough for sending and raising one up among us to teach, guide, and give us the knowledge that was given to him by Almighty God Allah. The knowledge that will awaken us out of our dead sleep. The knowledge that will stand us up and put us back on top. So to Allah, we are so thankful for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who sacrificed his life just to teach you and I the truth. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he was commissioned by Almighty God Allah, and he gave his word that he would give his life to teach us, and he did that. So we are thankful to Allah and his messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because without the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, we wouldn't be here today. So again, I'd like to thank you all for coming, because there's many places you can be, but you are here, and we are thankful to have you, because there's no better place to be than a place where the truth is being taught, especially in this day and time when the truth is on the rise and crushing falsehood. Oh, we are blessed to be in a place as this today. Again, we want to welcome you all to Muhammad's Temple of Islam, and for those of you who are in attendance for your very first time, we thank you and we welcome you. This is your home, brothers and sisters. So I don't want you to feel uncomfortable or at ease. Just know that you're gonna hear some things today that may not be too comfortable for you. Because what you're gonna hear today is the truth. And they say sometimes the truth hurts. And we're not here to hurt our people. We're not here to hurt anyone. We're only here to deliver the truth to you, brothers and sisters, that was delivered to us by Almighty God Allah through his messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we want you to know the truth. So please don't take anything you may hear today offensive. We ask that you have an open mind and hear what we have to say. Before you make a hasty decision, at least give us an ear. That's all we asking. We're not here to force anyone to believe as we believe. We're just here to give it to you and offer it to you as it was offered to us. And then you can make your decision from there. So we'd like to thank you all for coming again. And again, you could have been anywhere else, but you're here with us, and we are thankful. Now, and for those that's returning, we thank you as well. We thank you for coming back because you also could have been anywhere else, but you chose to be here, and we are thankful. My name is Brother Daniel Shabazz. I am standing in for the minister who was scheduled to speak today, so I will be giving you today's lecture. But before I do, I want to first get you familiar with Muhammad's Temple of Islam. For those of you who have never attended Muhammad's Temple of Islam Sunday meeting, this will be the closest experience you will have besides walking in the door physically. Those of you online. And for those that attended physically, we would like to thank you for one, for taking your time and traveling to and fro to hear the truth. Because there's no place that you'd rather be than a place where the truth is being taught. Now, we do have a search procedure. Those of you who are watching online, we have what we call a search procedure. And in that search procedure, everyone is searched. Everyone that comes into a Muhammad's Temple of Islam will be searched. Now, it is not to offend anyone. The search procedure is to secure our building, and it's to keep our building from being, to keep our meetings from being disturbed. We don't allow devices inside the building that will disturb our meeting. No gun, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol, anything that will cause a disturbance is left outside. We also do it for our safety. We seen reports on the news, churches getting shot up, mosques being bombed and shot up. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us to secure our buildings and make sure none of that takes place in our meetings. Now, here in Muhammad's Temple of Islam, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that it's designed in a way that, like a classroom setting. As you can see, we don't have, it's not set up in a manner that most places of religion, or so to speak, would be set up. It is set up like a classroom because we are here to learn. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that a temple is a place of learning where we teach out of. So we want you to come here to learn. That is the purpose of the temple, for you to come and learn. So you don't come here and leave home with nothing. You leave home with something. We want you to come and learn, just like you go to class, when you go to school and you're in class. You sit down and you learn, and you go home and with something you learned, at least every day you're in class, you should be learning something. Is that right? Well, here in Muhammad's Temple of Islam, we want you to learn. That is our whole sole purpose here at the temple, is to teach our people the knowledge that was hidden from them, and also the knowledge that the world has not known before. The knowledge that'll put us on the right path. And as you can see, brothers and sisters who are here for your first time, we don't have a band behind us. No musical instruments being played. We don't have a choir singing hymns, rejoicing. And it's not that we don't like music. We know that we are the authors of music. We are the creators of music. Black people created music. However, and we are the most rhythmic people in the world. However, when you come to Muhammad's Temple of Islam, you are coming here to learn. It's just like a class. You don't go to class with your Walkman playing, with your earphones on, playing on music and sit down and expect to learn anything. No, your teacher will tell you, put that music up. Am I right? Okay, same here. We don't have anything that's going to distract us. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that's a distraction. To get you feeling good, your spirit in the right spirit, and you feeling good. It's a sensation you get. And then you leave home with nothing. Because once that feeling dies down, then what do you have? You back to the same condition you were in before you walked into the door. Here at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, we are about solution. We want to solve our problems as black men and women here. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was given the solution. And we're here to learn, brothers and sisters. Muhammad's Temple of Islam, as I said, we don't have the band to distract us because we're not here to entertain you. No, sir, no, ma'am, no, brother, no, sister. We are here to teach and train you, not entertain you. We are here to teach and train you, not entertain you. So this is why we don't have the musical instruments and the choir singing. We want you to come here focused and ready to learn. Again, there's other things you may notice about Muhammad's Temple of Islam. For those of you who are new to Islam and aren't familiar with our greeting, Assalamu Alikum. Assalamu Alaikum is an Arabic word, which means, when translated into out of Arabic into English, it means peace be unto you. Peace be unto you. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that there's no greater greeting you can give someone than one of peace. When you greet your brother and your sister in peace, that is the greatest greeting you can give them. We've all grown up to greet one another in the English words of hello. Have you ever thought about what hello actually means? What does it mean? We know that it's 2 syllable word, hell and low. Hell is low. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that that's not a righteous greeting that we should give one another. The righteous don't greet each other in hello. We greet each other in peace because we want for our brother and our sister what we want for ourselves. Ain't that what we taught here in the Nation of Islam? To want for your brother and your sister what you want for yourself. So we want peace. Is that right? We all want peace. We all want to enjoy peace. When you have peace, you can be in heaven, enjoying heaven when you have peace, peace of mind. When you're at peace. So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that that is a righteous greeting, a greeting of all the prophets of God. All the men of God greeted their beloved brothers and sisters in the greeting words of peace. Let's take Jesus for an example. Jesus in the Bible teaches us that he greeted the disciples in the words of peace be unto you, which is exactly what we're doing today by saying Assalamu Alikum, peace be unto you. We all know that Jesus didn't speak English. Is that right? Say Jesus spoke ancient Aramaic. Is that right? And Aramaic is the mother tongue, the mother language of Arabic. So Jesus in that time was saying Assalamu Alaikum. So peace be unto you. And the return greeting is Wa Alaikum Salam. Wa Alaikum Salam, translated into English, only means peace be unto you also. So you're returning that peace to your brother and your sister by saying, peace be unto you also. That's a beautiful greeting. So I'm going to greet y'all once again in our nation words of peace and paradise. Assalamu Alaikum. Feels good to say that. Feels good because that's what I want. And I mean every word when I say that to someone. Now, for those of you who are here for your first time, you should ask yourself, why are you here? Why are you here today? You're here to hear the truth. Is that right? Are you here because you're tired of your condition and you want change? Are you here because you're tired of your people's condition? Are you here because you want a change for your children? Ask yourself these questions, brothers and sisters. Why are you here? Now, again, we like for you to keep an open mind. You know, these questions that you forming in your head, we're going to answer some of those questions today in the lecture. And also give solutions to some of our problems today. Because remember, we want you to go home with something. Not just to come here and get entertained and go back home with nothing. We want you to come home here and get something. So, moving forward, I want you to pay attention to this board we have right here. This board hanging is what we call our actual facts board. Why is it called the actual facts board? Because everything on this board is an actual fact. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who designed this board for us, and you will find this in every single Muhammad's temple of Islam. Because as I stated to you all, this is a classroom. This is a board similar to a chalkboard. When you walk into a classroom, you see a chalkboard in every class. Is that correct? Well, this is what you're going to see in every Muhammad's temple of Islam. Because in this actual facts board, full of facts, packed with facts, so packed with facts, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us this is 76 trillion years of history is on this board. I know you might be thinking, no, Brother Daniel, I don't see 76 trillion years of history, but I promise you, brothers and sisters, if you keep coming back, because we're not going to cover everything on this board today, but if you keep coming back, I promise you, brothers and sisters, you're going to find out that yes, this do have 76 trillion years of history on it. You might say, well, that's a long time. Brother Daniel, you say 76 trillion? Yes, 76 trillion years of history on this board. Now, viewing this board, you may form questions in your head, which is right. You should question this board. Why is it set up this way? That's probably one of your first questions. Why is it set up like this, Brother Daniel? Well, let's look at it. You have at the top, right here on the left, Christianity. And then over here on the right, you have Islam. Underneath Christianity, you have the American flag, slavery, suffering, death, and the cross. Over here under Islam, you have the universal flag of the sun, moon, and star, freedom, justice, and equality. And in between the two, you have which one will survive the war of Armageddon. Now underneath that, I don't know if you all can see this very clearly, viewing it online. There's a brother hanging from a tree. That's a brother hanging from a tree. You say, well, why is all of this on there? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said, why do you have a picture of a black man hanging on a tree? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, that's a beautiful picture. Not because, hold on, don't get mad at me. Not because it's a brother hanging on a tree, but in this picture, it tells you something. It tells you a true fact about your enemy. This tells you what type of people we dealing with that would do something like that to a man. And we're going to get into a little bit of that. Like I say, we're not going to go through the whole board today. I just want to kind of get you familiar with a little bit of it. And you keep coming back, we're going to keep teaching you more and more. Now, which one will survive the war of Armageddon? I know we all have seen this word coming up as children in church or even outside of the church. We've all heard this word Armageddon. Many of us didn't ever know what that word actually meant. It's a war, Armageddon, between two powers, two nations, two people. You have Christianity, Islam, the American flag, the crescent moon and star. Christianity, Islam. These are the two most dominant religions on the entire planet. Those are the two dominant religions that are clashing at this point. Why? Because there's a war between truth and falsehood. You may be saying to yourself, well, what makes you guys so sure that you have the truth? I know what you're thinking. And this is not to bash those of you who believe in Christianity. We only want to give you the truth. That's all. And it's on you to make your decision after that. But we have two of the dominant religions up here that are clashing. Christianity, Islam. Now, under Christianity, you see the American flag, which America prides itself on being a Christian nation. Is that right? We all know that to be true. This is America is a Christian nation. And under American flag, what did we receive being under this flag? You have to remember, we were brought here. Many of us were brought here. We all know the story. I know some of y'all gonna jump on and say, oh, well, we was already here. That is true. Many of our brothers were already here. We know the history of that too. How they got here. What brought them here? How long they've been here? See, these are things that a lot of our people don't know. However, we're not going to get into that today. However, we know this to be a fact that under America in the American flag, we received slavery. Is that right? We know that's a fact. That's historically documented facts. We can go and find history, and some of our ancestors have told us stories of them actually living in slavery. It's been handed down to some of us are fortunate enough to hear some of these old stories of our people being in slavery. There are some people that doubt now. They're trying to come up with this new thing that slavery never existed. Oh boy, we're not going to get into that, but we know for a fact slavery existed. We know for a fact under the American flag, we suffering. Is that right? We suffered through slavery. We suffered out of slavery. We still suffering to this day under this flag. Is that right? And then you have ultimately death. which we can see right here what happened to this brother right here, this poor brother right there. And many of us to this day are still being lynched right in our face. They'll kill a brother and put it right on Fox News, all these news outlets. They'll play it in our face. Those are lynchings. We're not going to get too far into that, but we are still suffering, slavery, suffering, and death. We're not going to get into a lot of this. Like I said, I just really wanted to open you up with this so you can get some understanding of why this is here and why it's set up. You know, this is a very important board, and there's a lot of information that needs to be shared with you all from this board. So, with that being said, I just wanted to open you up with this a little bit. I'm going to go into my lecture today, which I will be teaching from this board. And my subject today is the day of decision. Choose life that you may live. Why the day of decision, Brother Daniel? Because, as you can see, we're in the middle of a war. Because whether you want to or not, you are going to have to choose. Many of you don't understand that and the importance of it. Now, I don't want you to think that we out here going and really picking up weapons and going after our brothers and sisters who are under Christianity. No. Our only weapon is the truth. We are only armed with the truth. Your Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad disarmed us by not allowing us to carry weapons. We are not allowed to carry weapons. We don't even carry as much as a penknife, because in the Nation of Islam, we know that we have the truth, and we have the true God behind us, who wants to prove to the world that he's God. He's here to prove to the world that he's God. So we don't need guns when we have the supreme being backing us up. All praise due to Allah. And I speak none other than Master Farad Muhammad, the one that the world has been waiting for, the Mahdi, the Christ, the Messiah. All praises due to Allah, has come, and he has risen one among us, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to teach us the truth that will awaken us and stand us up and prepare us so we don't get caught in this and destroyed. Now, you may say, well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he's not no prophet. He never claimed to be a prophet. He's just a man who was risen up to deliver a message. This is why he only took on the title as messenger. Messenger of God. That's it. He's the messenger of God. He was the one who received the message and passed the message on to us, as a messenger would do. If I send something through the mail and the carrier comes and gets it and takes it, sends it to where I needed to go, he just delivered my message, right? That's what the messenger did. He delivered a message, and in that message, it was instructions, it was warnings, there was a lot in that message, and also an example. He became an example for us. So I really wanted you to understand a little bit about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad before I begin my subject, because if it was not for him sacrificing himself to teach us, he sacrificed his entire life and dedicated himself to teaching us, because he loved us that much. And Allah chose him, and he poured that knowledge into him. This is why he was able to do what he did with a third grade education. This man stood up before the world and challenged scholars. He challenged the theologians, and he told them all, he stood before the world and said, if you can prove one word of what I have been teaching to be wrong, a lie, I will give you my life and $10,000. I've never heard a man in history who was able to make a bold statement like that. I've never met a man in history that could make a bold statement, and you've never heard anyone talk like that. That's a man that is so sure of himself, he's willing to give his life if you can prove him wrong, and $10,000. And at one point in time, he even challenged the theologians and the scholars to come challenge him, and none of them stepped forward. You know why? Because they knew who he was. The only ones that don't know who the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is you and I, our people. We are the ones that rejected him. The government knew who he was. They didn't reject him. They knew. You never heard them say he wasn't the messenger of Allah. You never heard them say that. You never heard him say he was a liar. Never. Think on that. Think on that, brothers and sisters. Just think about that. This man stood before the world with the things that he was saying that could have got most black men, that would have got most black men hung, if not all hung, shot, beat to death, in jail, prison. That would have got a lot of us killed in them times, especially think about it, brothers and sisters. This is a man that was in the 1930s, during a time where black men were still getting hung publicly and drugged and lynched publicly. We still getting lynched now. However, it was a difference back then. And he was bold enough to tell people the white man is the devil. That's bold. 1930s. Can you imagine that? I want that God that he had with him. That man had God with him. So today, all praise due to Allah. Today we are thankful to have the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the man who sacrificed his entire life to teach it. You and I, who made an example on what we can do. He built a nation inside of a nation. Think about this, brothers and sisters. Look back at the work that he has done. This man was able to do so much in such a short period of time. Built a nation. I wish I had time to go into all of the things that he has done, and we will get to that someday, Allah willing. We will go over that because it's important that you know these things. However, brothers and sisters, I must continue on with my subject today. And again, it is the day of decision. Choose life that you may live. The day of decision. You know, I recommend you brothers, to go, brothers and sisters. Every black man and woman in America should have this book, The Fall of America. This is a book written by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and it has tons of information that is important and vital to our, not only our educational purposes, but in our survival. I would like to read a little bit out of this book. I'm not going to read the entire chapter. I'm just going to read a paragraph from it, and this is chapter 59, and it's called The Decision. on page 246, the actual chapter starts on page 243, but I'll be reading from page 246. He says, the day of decision only means the resurrection and judgment of the present world, as Jesus prophesied, as it was in the day of Noah, Abraham, and Lot, so it will be today. They were eating and drinking and having a good time, as they called it. But it is not a good time. It is a wicked time. I'm going to stop there. He said the day of this decision only means the resurrection and judgment of the present world. Let's talk about that for a quick moment. The resurrection. Many of you have been taught about the resurrection or have heard about the resurrection in church, speaking about the dead rising out of the grave and going to be judged. Is that right? Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that is so far from the truth. The day of resurrection is not talking about a physical resurrection where people are going to be coming up out of the graveyard. First of all, think about it, brothers and sisters. Can you imagine some people climbing up out of the grave today? If you seen that, you'll take off running. Let's be real, brothers and sisters. If you seen a man climb out the grave, you gonna take off running. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that is referencing a mental death. And it's speaking on us, you and I, who suffered from slavery. Because through slavery, we had lost our identity. We didn't know who we were. So we died mentally and spiritually. We were dead. We were dead people. It's just like it's like comparison to a person with amnesia, right? When a person has amnesia, they're considered clinically dead. That's a medical term, clinically dead. When a person is amnesia, because he doesn't know who he is. When a person wakes up and forgets who he was, where he don't know the time, he don't know the date, he don't know who he is, where he came from, he's considered clinically dead. Many of y'all didn't know that, did you? So just like that dead man, we are a dead people because we didn't know our name. We fell up under the name of the white man who gave us our name. Our names wasn't Johnson and Williams and Moores and things of that. Our last names were our original names. See, when they took us and put us into slavery, we already know the story. They whipped us into submission. Y'all seen Roots. What's your name, boy? Kunta. Whoopsh. What's your name, boy? Kunta. Whoopsh. What's your name, boy? Kunta. Whoopsh. What's your name, boy? Okay, Toby. You broke down, Toby. And then from generation after generation after generation being moved from here to there, separated from your family. Imagine you a child and you separated from your family and you get sent to Watkins slave master, right? So when you arrive at the Watkins slave field, they gonna brand you a Watkins because now you belong to Mr. Watkins. So that's how we received our last name, through slavery. Now I know many of our people believe that, hey, some of our people don't even believe slavery existed. And I asked them brothers, well, where did we get our names from? How did we end up with the slave masters' names? Then some will say, well, my people ain't never been slaves. I've heard black people say that. And I say, okay, and that can be true because some of our people here were the natives who were here. They were already here, but this is the difference. If you were native, right, and your family was never slaves, then you would know your own language. You would have your own name. You would know your tribe. Why are you walking around here guessing? watching YouTube to find your tribe, because many of us came from that slave ship and just don't want to accept it. You know, we want to accept everything except our own. So here we are today in the day of decision, right? We must be resurrected. We had to be resurrected, as the scriptures say. The scripture had to be fulfilled. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was a man risen to raise us up. And just like it was prophesied of him, if you go to Malachi chapter 4, verse 4, it reads, "Behold, I will send you behold, before the great and dreadful day of the Lord, I will send you Elijah. And he will turn back the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the children back to the fathers." And so on and so forth. Go look the scripture up, Malachi chapter 4, verse 4. However, that's referring to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. There has never been another Elijah that has came and stepped foot on the earth that did the work that he done. He turned the fathers' hearts back to the children and the children's hearts back to the father. He done that. He done everything that he was prophesied to do. And this what brings us to this day of decision. Why? Because now that the truth is here and given to us, after we had been lost for all them years, we've been lost over 400 years. Now that the truth is here, now we can make a decision. Now we can decide. Before we didn't have but one choice. But today we have two choices. Allah came to offer us life, and he came to offer us death. Which one will survive the war of Armageddon? Which one do you want to survive, brothers and sisters? In the Bible, it says in Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 19, "I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing." It says, "Therefore choose life, that you may live." No, excuse me. That both thou and thy seed may live. And this is why I chose this topic today, because we must make our decision. Now, let's go to this board again. As we see all of this, there's a lot of symbols on here, right? When we see pictures and images, they project symbols, right? For instance, we have right here a flag. A flag is a symbol, right? It's a symbol. It symbolizes something, right? These flags are symbols. They have symbols on them representing something, right? We have here another symbol under Christianity, the cross. But before we get into these symbols, I want to talk about what is a symbol. Let's break a symbol down, right? According to the dictionary, the symbol defined as a noun, it says, 1, a mark or character used as a conventional representation of an object, function, or process. The letter or letters standing for a chemical element or character in music notation. Then it says in quotations, it says the symbol R in figure 5 represents a gene which is ineffective. And that was just an example right there. Definition 2, it says a thing that represents or stands for something else, especially a material object representing something abstract. And they give you an example. It says that limousine was another symbol of his wealth. Now let's look at this. Okay, here we have symbols, right? Now remember this question. Keep this question in your mind. Let's start with Christianity and the American flag. Here we have symbols in this flag. I'm not going to go through all of them because I only have a certain amount of time with you all today, and I want to get my point across, but there's so much that we can cover on this. But I'm just going to give you a few pointers here, okay? So bear with me, brothers and sisters. Here we have the American flag. And if you look over here, you see this corner in a field of blue, you have 50 stars, right? 50 white stars. This is a symbol. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the maker of this flag was a black man, or the creator who made this flag was a black man. Who designed this flag, who designed this flag was a black man. And he knew what to put on here that would represent the people who are behind this flag, who are representing this flag. So he put the 50 stars in a field of blue. Many of you might say, well, what does that mean? If you don't know, the stars is 50 5-pointed stars, which we know 5-pointed star means justice, right? That's a symbol of justice. See, we're talking about symbols here, symbolism. You have to understand the meaning of these flags because these flags and these symbols are very important for you and I to know because it tells us about the people who they are representing. So we have 50 stars, meaning 50, which represent the 50 states of America. Is that correct? Which they call the United States of America, right? And keep that in mind. The United States of America. 50 stars, which represent justice, right? Now, we all know if you have ever traveled before or lived in multiple states, you know that in each state there's different laws. All the states don't run under the same law. They all have their own set of laws. Some laws are the same depending on where you go, but each state has a law of their own. Is that correct? All right. Well, we know that. So 50 states are not united. They can't say that they're united, right? Because they have their own set of justice. That's not unity. They separated by their justice is separated, right? This is where the field of blue comes in to also teach us something. Why is that blue? Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that blue is a color of deception. Just like, for an example, the sky. They say there's blue, the sky is blue, right? And it appears to be from here. But if you go up, the farther you go, you will never see no blue. Matter of fact, you keep going farther and farther, you're going to find yourself in black. Why? Because it's not no blue up there. That's a deception. It's deceiving to the eyes. So it is with the water. From above, you look down at the water, it looks blue. Is that right? Okay. But when you go down to the water and you scoop up a handful, you don't find no blue, do you? You dive into it, you start swimming deeper and deeper, you don't find no blue either, do you? But the farther you keep going, you're going to end up in that black. Is that right? It's going to be dark down there. If it's deep enough, it's going to be dark down there. Is that right? Oh, praise due to Allah. Okay. So, these are important symbols. Why is that blue there? It's to represent deception. That's right. Deception. All 50 states is in deception. United by deceiving us. That is one thing they united on. And now they so divided they can't even unite on how they want to deceive us. You got one, the left wing and the right wing, even though they both on the same bird. The left wing and the right wing, they both, either way it go, they both ruling us, you and I, the black man and woman here in America. We still under their rule. So it don't matter who in office, Republican, Democrat, it don't matter. We receiving the same treatment under both. They have never gave us freedom, justice, and equality, either side. So it is very important to understand these symbolisms, right? And we're gonna keep going because it gets even deeper than that. And a lot deeper than what I'm about to do, but there's only so much that we can teach you. You know, we can't teach you it all in one sitting. Just like any class that's a deep class, you ain't gonna learn everything in one day. So we ask that you be patient, and we ask that you come back and learn more. Let's get back into this, okay? Now, let's look at this symbol, the symbol of the cross, which the Christians wave as their symbol that represents Christianity. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that this is not a righteous symbol, and it doesn't represent God. In fact, it's the opposite. And remember, we was talking about deception. Many of you may feel a little unease at this, but I just ask that you be patient and give us a listen and keep an open mind. Let's look at the word Christianity. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that this is a deceiving word, right? Christianity. This is how wickedly wise the devil was into tricking us, into thinking this was a righteous religion or the religion of God. When he put Christ in there in entity, which he switched some words around, which really this is anti-Christ. Antichrist. This religion is the religion of the devil. Now, I know many of you gonna get upset and say, "Oh, Brother Daniel, no, I don't believe that. You ain't gonna tell me this is the religion of the devil." Well, I ask you to just be patient and let us prove to you that this is not a religion of God. And under this, we know for a fact we have suffered from slavery, suffering, and death. Remember, the Christians used to burn these in our yards. They would ride around with their white robes on and hoods. The Ku Klux Klan is what they called themselves. But they were Christians. And they would come around and burn this cross in our yard. Why? Well, you got to understand what this cross really means. Many of us never knew really what this cross represented. We hang this up in our houses and we put them around our necks. Some of us got jewelry, got tattoos with it, not even knowing what this symbol means. This is, my brothers, the symbol of death. Brothers and sisters, that is the symbol of death. And this is the religion of death. Remember, choose life that ye may live. Allah is offering us life and death. Why is this religion of death? Well, we're going to get into that. I'm going to explain to you. The whole premise of the religion is revolves around death. The death of Jesus, one of the prophets. Is that right? Or you may refer to him as God. However, that is what this religion revolves around. The death of Jesus. who they say died on a cross. Is that right? So they teach you in this religion that the only way you going to heaven is by dying. You have to die to go to heaven. Is that right? Death. Let's talk about it. Death. This is the religion of death. And this is their symbol, the cross. When I was young, I used to grow up thinking that this was a righteous symbol. I used to be scared of the dark when I was a child. And I thought that as long as I had that cross in the room, nothing would come in there and bother me. I thought this cross was a cross of God until I was awakened to the truth. All praise due to the Allah for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Let's talk about the cross, okay? Now, we see this cross on many places, inside churches, on the walls. We see it. We used to see it on ambulances. Many of our elders can remember. Remember, they used to have a cross on the ambulance. You know, we see it on in the walls of our homes. You know, many of our people's homes. We see it on hospitals. You know, see it on the front of the Bible. You know, this cross that represents death. This is a symbol. Remember, we gave the definition of symbol, what a symbol is and what it's representing. This represents death. It was a symbol and it was a tool used to kill people. Remember that, brothers and sisters. Remember, Jesus, they say, died on the cross. Is that what they say? Is that right? He was killed or murdered on the cross. Is that right? So let's just look at it this way. If Jesus was shot to death by a machine gun, would you put a machine gun on your walls with the blood of Jesus all on splattered all on the wall? Would you wear shirts with machine guns and Jesus' head blown with the guts hanging out on the side? Would you? Would you get tattoos with a machine gun and Jesus' head being blown? Would you do that? Would you get a chain with a machine gun around your neck? Would it be on top of the church? Like the cross? Would it be all over the walls? Think about this, brothers and sisters. This is a symbol of death. And we walk around here with this on our neck, on tattooed on us, on our walls, not knowing what this means. But we're going to wake y'all up today, brothers and sisters. All praise due to Allah. You know, this cross, we see it everywhere. We see it in the graveyard. As I said, we see it on hospitals. You see it on top of the church. But what does it represent? It's telling us something. When you see a symbol, it's like a sign. It lets you know about something. Is that right? If you see a bottle of poison and you see the crossbone and skull, you know what that bottle is poison, right? Because of the symbol, right? If you see a stop sign on the road, you know that's a symbol. You know what the symbol looks like. You know to stop, right? Well, this symbol, everywhere you see this symbol, it's a symbol of death, telling you that wherever you see this, either somebody is dead or they dying. You see that on top of the church, right? Telling us that everybody under there is dead. Now, I'm not talking about physically dead. I'm talking about mentally dead because they don't know the knowledge of themselves. They don't know the knowledge of their God, and they don't know the knowledge of the devil who have given them this religion in the first place. And I don't mean to offend you, brothers and sisters. I just want you all to know the truth that was given to us from Allah to his messenger, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Allah did not have to come for us and give us this truth. He could have left us blind and destroyed us all. but he gave us a chance. Now, moving along, we're taught that Jesus died on that cross. Is that right? Many say that Jesus sacrificed his own life to save the world. I want y'all to really think about that. Think about what it is that we believe in. Well, while we representing something, while we have a symbol that we are representing in a flag, we should know everything about a flag and a symbol before we even accept it as our own. We should know everything about it. That's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us, that we should know everything about a flag before we accept it as our own or claim it as our own. You should know about it. Why haven't we been taught about this? Because it was a secret. Here you have the flag offered to us who didn't have a flag. This flag did not belong to us. It was not made for us. We fell under it because we were slaves at the time. And we were forced into this. This is not our flag. We are a nation of our own, under this nation. We were put under this nation. This is not our nation. We were taken from our nation, and Allah thought enough of us to come and bring us and set us free and bring us our own flag. This is ours, brothers and sisters. And you don't have to put that on a flag pole and raise it up. Our sun, moon, and star shines all day, 24 hours a day. That sun is up there. And can't nobody go up there and snatch it down. That can be snatched down. That one can't. Nobody gonna travel 93 million miles to touch that sun. And when they get there, they ain't gonna bring it down. This is a flag that'll last forever. And we were given that flag. And as I said, it's a symbol, right? We're talking symbols, right? Sun, moon, and star. Why? Why did Allah give us this as a flag? Because he was giving us back the universe that belonged to us in the first place. We were the first people to walk the planet. We were part of creation. So this flag belonged to us. The universal flag of the universe in our flag. And there's so much more I would love to go on, discuss. And due to time, though, brothers and sisters, we won't be able to get to a lot of it. Yeah, we won't be able to get to a lot of it today. So, I just really wanted to touch bases with you on it and give you some understanding of what this of what this board means and why it's important that we know this. Let's see, when we look at this this board, and see the flags, and we see this black man here in the middle hanging. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that this is a beautiful picture. And you might say, well, why would that be a beautiful picture? Why, Brother Daniel? That's a man hanging, a black man hanging from a tree. Why is that beautiful? It's not beautiful because the brother has lost his life. It's beautiful because that picture teaches you who and what type of people would do this to you. It's important to know this because by you knowing what type of people would do this to you, you will be able to prevent yourself from becoming a victim. Like this brother. If these brothers could speak today, they would tell you what type of people they was dealing with. And it's important that we understand all of this because this is a product of this. The American Negro was made by the Americans. They made Negro. We didn't come over here on no boats as Negroes. We didn't even come over here on no boats as slaves. They went and took doctors, scientists, engineers. They took some of the best and brought them over here. They didn't go over there and get no slaves and bring them over here. No, they brought intelligent people over here. But those people trusted these people, same way a lot of us are doing today, trusting these people who keep giving us this. We see it time after time after time. We watching the news now, watching all of these entertainers go through this publicly. And it's time that we make a decision, brothers and sisters. The day of decision is here. We must choose whether we want life or death. And I wish I had more time to go over this subject, to go deeper into the subject. And I pray that what you heard today, you have some type of understanding. You have gotten some type of understanding of what you heard. And I pray that you come back. You know, this is a tough duty for us, tough job to get you all to even come and hear the truth. And then once we get you to come, it's harder to keep you because many of you love this. Our people love this world. We love this world. Why? Because it gives us nothing. It gives us nothing. Here it is. We have freedom, justice, and equality over here being offered to us today, but we won't choose it. I know many brothers say, "Oh man, I like what y'all Muslims are doing, y'all Muslims, but y'all too strict for me. I can't do that. I gotta eat my pork, man. I gotta smoke on my weed, and I gotta drink on this alcohol. It's too many rules." Well, brother, that's your choice. If that's what you choose, if you choose the lifestyle that America has given us, who gave us that alcohol? Who gave us the notion to smoke marijuana? I know that y'all gonna say, "Oh man, that's ancient and this and that." Bring up all of the stuff you want to, but brother and sister, let me tell you, there's nothing more powerful than you using your mind, your sober mind. When you was born, you wasn't born with a bottle in your mouth. You wasn't even born with a baby bottle in your mouth. Let that sink in. But we wasn't born with our minds altered. You know, this is why it's so important that we come into the truth, because it's going to give us life. Think about that, brothers. We have been taught to use our natural mind. We don't need no stimulant or no drug to function. That's not natural. And anything that goes against nature always destroys itself. Remember that, brothers and sisters. Anything that goes against nature destroys itself. And look at the life that most of us live. We're destructive. We're destroying ourselves inside and out, because alcohol and drugs destroy us inside and out. So these are solutions that Allah has given the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to give to us to solve a lot of our problems. You won't find that here. America's not giving us anything to solve our problems. All they're doing is giving us problems and making the problems they already gave us harder on us. We see that. We see that every day. You can't deny that. And here it is. We have a solution though, brothers. You say, "Oh, well, you Muslims is too strict." But these strict rules are designed to benefit you. To benefit you, brothers and sisters. It's not to hurt you or to make you a slave to a religion. No, Islam is not even a religion. Islam is a way of life. It is not a religion. We only call it a religion because that's what you identify it as. It is not a religion. For us to Islam, what does Islam mean? For those of you who attended last week's meeting, with Brother Minister Wali Abdullah Muhammad. You gave a beautiful presentation. And if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. If you watched it, go back and watch it again because you may have missed something. But the brother gave a beautiful presentation and he broke down Islam. He gave a good introduction to Islam. So for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, I advise you to go back and watch it. Islam means total submission to the will of Allah, the will of God, whose proper name is Allah. When you're doing God's will, that's Islam. God had a will and a purpose for all of us when we were created. Is that right? If you look at nature, everything in nature is submitting to God's will. You look at the sun, moon, and stars. They all submitting to God's will. Nothing gets out of line. And if they do, if a star gets out of line, it'll burn up. They'll call it a fallen star, right? It burns up because it got out of line, in alignment with nature. So it is with anything, any creature of nature. But most of the creatures in nature all submit to Allah's will. You don't have to tell a bear how to be a bear. You don't have to tell a lion how to be a lion. By nature, they do what nature tells them to do. Only time they're altered out of their nature is when we get in the way and we cause them to go against their nature. Same with us. We have been caused to go against our nature. Against our nature. And there's so much more that we can teach you, brothers and sisters. So with that being said, I will close this lecture. And in my conclusion, I would like to say thank you all again for attending. And again, I hope that you got some type of understanding of what you heard today. And if anything you heard today you have any questions on, we ask that you stick around for our question and answer period. I'm not sure if we're going to have our question and answer period, but please stick around. We have a panel of ministers who can answer your questions. Because like I said, we always have a question and answer period at the end of our meetings because we want you to have an understanding. And I want to apologize for last week because we weren't able to have our question and answer period due to technical difficulties. We're all kind of learning this social media thing and getting things on track. But however, nevertheless, we do have a question and answer period because we want you to have an understanding. We don't want you to go home just scratching your head. And if you do, come back and we're going to give you the answer that you're looking for. Allah willing. We have enough brothers that know. I don't know all the answers, but we have enough of us together where we have the answer for you. So again, brothers and sisters, I thank you for coming out, and we ask that you come back and bring a friend, tell a family member to join you and come back. And also, if there's any of you out there who believe what you heard today is the truth and you would like to learn more, come back. Contact us. We have a telephone number where you can leave a message and one of our representatives will contact you. If I don't contact you myself personally, one of our representatives will reach out to you, and we would like for you to come in and reclaim your own. And you don't have to go through no ritual to become a Muslim. You don't have to go get baptized in some water. You don't have to speak in no tongues, catching no spirit to be a Muslim. And this is not a shot to disrespect the Christians. I just want you all to know that there's no ritual that you have to take to become a Muslim. All you have to do is accept your own. This belongs to you, black man and woman. It's yours. It is already yours. It was offered to you to accept. On acceptance, it's yours. We would like for you to come and get registered with your nation. Just like all nations have a registry, come get registered with your nation, black man and woman, and claim your own. Be proud of your flag. Now you have a flag that you can be proud of. Now that you know a little bit about this flag, which we're going to go deeper into this to give you a better knowledge of it. But now that you know a little bit about your flag, you can let this one go and accept your own. Now, with that being said, I think my time is up. To all of the believers out there who are in attendance today, we ask that you contact us as well, because we want to unite all of the believers. We have a wonderful brotherhood that we have established, and we're only growing. And we want you to come in to the fold. And we're looking for our sisters as well to come and join us in our unity, because we have a lot of plans and we have been working together for a while to build something for ourselves. We're not just coming together to do a bunch of talking. We actually want to do something for ourselves, and we're working hard, and we need your help. Come and join on to your brothers and sisters in this work. Also, we have our Cash App for those who would like to help us in the progress and work that needs to be done to help build our nation, do something for ourselves, meaning you and I, and our as a collective. We are working to establish something to call our own. I believe that we'll have that posted as well. You can find us on Facebook under Muhammad's Temples of Islam, Nation of Islam, Muhammad's Temples United. That's on Facebook. We're also on YouTube. So follow us. We'll post up the links so you may be able to join us at any time. Okay, at this time, I will conclude this lecture. And if Allah permits, we'll bring on our brothers and our ministers for our question and answer period. And if for some reason we're unable to, we ask that you leave your questions in the comment section, and we will answer them. Next week, we'll come back with an answer, or we will contact you personally with an answer, because we don't want to leave you without an answer. Okay, brothers and sisters, we're going to close out. And just as we open up in prayer, we always close out in prayer. So if you will allow me, I would like for you all to get in position of prayer. As I stated before, for those of you who came on late, we stand erect at attention with our feet, heels touching at a 45-degree angle, and we extend our hands out as if we're receiving a gift. Slightly bow our heads and close our eyes to this wicked world. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praises due to Allah, the Lord of all the worlds, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, Master and Savior of this day of judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, and Thee alone do we beseech for help. O Allah, guide us along the right path, the path of those upon whom Thou hast bestowed favor, and not on the path of those upon whom Thy wrath is brought down, nor of those who have gone astray after they have heard Thy teachings. Say, He, Allah, is one. Allah is He of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He neither begets nor is He begotten, and there is none like unto Him. I bear witness that there is none to be served or worshipped beside Thee, and I bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is Thy last and greatest apostle to we, the lost and found nation here in the wilderness of North America. Ameen. At this time, I turn you over to our beloved brother ministers, council, and panel to answer your questions. So I leave you, brothers and sisters, in our greeting words of peace and paradise. Assalamu Alikum.